Hi, Ron Benning here with the Sacramento Fourplex market update for the month ending February of 2026. In this video, we'll look at what happened in the Fourplex market this month, what it means for cash flow investors, and what we can expect as we move towards the second quarter of 2026. Make sure you watch to the end because the Fourplex market just made a dramatic change. But can it last? Watch to find out. And as always, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe so you don't miss my monthly market updates and cash flow alerts. In a dramatic shift, January 2026 was officially a neutral market for Sacramento Fourplexes. Months of inventory based on closed sales came in at 4.4 months, which is right in the neutral range between 3 and 6 months. That's a big change from last month, with inventory 56% lower than January of 2025 and 25% lower than just last month. You may recall just a few months ago, we had around a 17-month supply. This means supply has tightened dramatically. What's causing this, and will it continue? For months, I've been saying interest rates would be the primary driver of the market. So to some extent, they still are, but for a different reason now. Rates for the most part have stabilized, with a very slight drifting down still occurring over the last few months. Many investors who had been anticipating dramatically lower rates are now coming to realize that for most of 2026, rates are likely to be just about where they are now. I've had clients lock in rates for fourplexes between 6.25% and 6.5% over the last month or two. This means that more investors chose to get off the fence and have started buying after the holidays. Assuming a 6.25% interest rate with 25% down on an average sale price of $899,900, the break-even GRM for a Sacramento Fourplex is 11.7 this month. As I'm filming, 7 of the Sacramento Fourplexes meet this criteria, and I will be bringing a Fourplex to market this week with the GRM of 10.47. I'll also be closing a Sacramento Fourplex the first week of March with a GRM in the sweet spot. So a break-even or slightly positive cash flow deal from day one is still possible. Pending sales and closed sales. The number of properties for sale was 10% higher than last year at this time, but down 25% from last month, meaning a lot of the listings came off the market going into January, plus more pending sales. At the same time, pending sales jumped sharply. There were 7 fourplexes under contract, which is up 600% from last month and 133.3% higher than a year ago at this time. This tells us that buyer activity is coming back after the holiday slowdown. For closed sales, January had 6 closed fourplex sales, which is 200% higher than January of last year and up 20% from the previous month. That's a major signal. We just saw the strongest closing month and the strongest pending month for fourplexes in the past year. This comes as no surprise to me, though. I've been saying that the Sacramento Fourplex market is the best opportunity of any other market segment for months now. Next, let's talk about pricing. The average for sale price in January was $1,034,000, which is down about 10.2% from last year, but up 1.9% from December. The average sold price was around $899,000, which is up 5.3% from last year, but down 10.2% from last month. My goal with this channel is to bring market insights that nobody else is seeing. And here's what I see that most others have missed. In the Sacramento Fourplex market in 2025 and moving into 2026 is that we saw a dramatic increase in the number of fourplex sales coming in just 4 zip codes in downtown, midtown, and East Sacramento. Around 40% of the fourplex sales last year occurred in just those 4 zip codes. All of the comps and the GRM in those 4 zip codes are not comparable to the rest of the county. And because of the small total market size, it affects the average numbers for the whole county. As I'm filming this video today, there are 5 pending fourplex sales. Buyers are gravitating towards quality and location. Does this mean buyers won't buy outside those fourplexes in the downtown and East Sacramento area? No, they will. But outside those 4 zip codes, for the most part, the income GRM will need to be under 11 times the annual earnings, or it's very unlikely to sell. If you're in one of these trophy zip codes in the East Sac, Midtown area, the GRM is more likely to go into the high 11s or even low to mid 12s. Next, let's take a look at the days on the market. The average days on the market was 73 days. That's actually pretty long. That's 25.5% faster than December, but still 284% slower than January of 2025. 73 days is a long time. This means that most sellers are still pricing too high and will likely have to have at least 1 or 2 price reductions before selling. But well-priced properties priced in the sweet spot are going to move fast. Fourplex buyers are very price sensitive right now. Let's take a look at the buyer negotiating power. The sold to original list price ratio came in at 90%, meaning buyers are negotiating about 10% off the list price on average. This is reflected in that 73 days on the market, and in truth means sellers are pricing about 10% too high. This confirms that buyers currently have strong negotiating leverage even in a tightening market. So what does this mean heading into the second quarter of 2026? So here's the real story. Inventory is tightened, buyer demand is rising, but buyers still have strong negotiating power. This is not a seller's market yet, but it's no longer a soft buyer's market either. We are now in a rebalancing phase, which still has good investment opportunities and is a slightly better time to be a seller. Final thoughts for investors. If you're buying a fourplex right now, you still have leverage, but you must be disciplined on pricing and GRM. Buyers are paying for quality, but are still punishing overpriced deals. For sellers, pricing matters more than ever, particularly in the zip codes outside the 4 at East Sac, Midtown, and downtown. The days of throwing out aggressive numbers and waiting are gone. Buyers are active, but only when the numbers make sense. If you'd like my weekly GRM reports, a property valuation on your property, or a rent analysis on your property, scan the QR codes on the screen or check the links in the description below. And whether you're planning to buy or sell in the next 7 days or 7 months, give me a call or a text. I'll be happy to help you plan a smart, profitable move.